even being in the United States, my background was 100% Colombian. My name is Hernan Rodriguez. I was born in Barranquilla, Colombia. And I came to the United States at the age of 5. My father was, he was pursuing engineering. So he brought the family, and my dad also was an illustrator. So I got into graphic design, advertising, probably worked in that for about 18 years. And then a lot of the times I was taking pictures, for the ads. So that's where I made the change into photography. I work a lot in Hollywood with a lot of actors and a lot of agents, publicists, managers, sports athletes. So, that's basically what I do, commercial photography, 100% now.
Please tell us about your creative approach, your creative vision in your work, and the types of projects that you have worked on.
My creative vision really is a combination, or it's a collaboration of me and the client. So, and it all changes because, I have a new client every single time. I could maybe do like an advertising campaign for a shoe company, and they have their creative vision. They have maybe an outline of 20 topics. And then me, with my experience, I have to go and execute that. I have to be able to, put their concepts together along with what I think that I could bring to the table for them. So, and I think that's where my art background helps me. My culture helps me too, because I think I bring a lot of things from the outside and then I present that to them. Sometimes these images end up in magazines or billboards, in Las Vegas or New York. Sometimes I don't know where they end up because, again, I'm working with a specific project for one person, to be able to take the best pictures I can for like Danny Trejo. And then they expose the images for a movie. He did a movie last year and we used one of my images for his movie poster. So preparation is really a big part of this. I have to be prepared. I have to present the best work I can, and they're satisfied. Not only that, but they return to you. It becomes a relationship. First it becomes like, oh wow, these guys are big celebrities, big names, but they're normal people. They're ordinary people, and they're insecure. Some of them are very funny guys, and but you establish a relationship with these people, and that's how you build that network of individuals. And sometimes I look at myself, born in Colombia, in Barranquilla, in a small little town, and I'm here now with big names in Hollywood. So it's nice to go back and see that your work, your education and what you do is able to expand into meeting all these interesting people.
What challenges have you faced in your career, and how did you manage to overcome that?
Any career that is within the arts, it could be graphic design, it could be photography, music, theater. It's very competitive because there's a lot of people who could do what you could do. So, that's what I find myself always kind of pushing, because if I solicit for a job, there's 100 more photographers who are trying to get the same job. So what makes me special? Why should they give me the job? A lot of it is your interaction with people, your personality. People like doing business with people who they like. Like if I like you, next time I need a job, I'm going to go to you because I like you as a person.
I think that it's also because of your blood. I think that it's also because you're Colombian, that we are so colorful, full of beautiful landscapes on our lands, on our cities. So I know that is also because of you're Colombian and we're so colorful people. Regarding to Colombia specifically, I want to ask you, so how has your cultural heritage as a Colombian influenced your artistic vision and professional career?
I think for me, even being in the United States, my background was 100% Colombian. Growing up to my 20s, I grew up in a very Colombian family. My mom cooked arepas at home, and everything was about the music, about the culture, about about the energy. Um, so I think when I carry that into an American, an American culture here in the United States, where there's a lot of cultures, I think my heritage as a Colombian, I bring that. I bring it in the art. I bring it in the music, but it's in the fabric of your personality. So when people see you, it's funny because I've been here my entire life, and when people see me or they talk to me, they're like, you know, you're different. You know, where are you from? You know, they want to know where you're from because there's something different, there's something special, but it's part of the culture. It's the way we speak. It's our energy. It's the way we see things. You know, and again, it's just a big influence. I think that's what I have. You know, whatever project I have, and I think as a Colombian, it's those flavors. You know, it's a flavor of music. It's a flavor of influence, of culture, of color. You know, 100% color. And that's what kind of I offer as part of my heritage.
I want to know what is your perspective and how do you feel being in the United States as a Colombian in this moment where the music and the industry, the entertainment industry, it's getting bigger and bigger in all the world. How do you feel about it?
I'm really proud to see the progression of the Colombian abroad. And I think that as far as I know, you know, people who see like, or they know I'm Colombian, they remember the big names, you know, they remember Shakira and they remember, you know, Sofia Vergara, you know, but working in the industry as a photographer, there's big names, there's directors, you know, there's another director named Hernan, and he's doing really well here. And, you know, so I think the impact and the influence Colombians have in the United States, it's always progression. So I remember when I came in here early as a teenager, when people say Colombia, it was always involved with the bad side of it, you know? Oh, the narcos and the drugs and this and that. That doesn't exist anymore. You don't hear that.
What makes a photograph a very well executed photograph?
You have to be able to encapsulate, you know, you have to be able to show and present the individual just with that one picture. So the most important thing, I think, and the most challenging thing, I believe, is the trust, you know, being able to get the person to express themselves. You know, a good photographer has to be able to discern and be sensitive to know the person. You know, it's not the camera, it's not technique. It's a relationship.
For those aspiring to pursue a career in professional photography, what advice would you give them on how to stand out in such a competitive market?
You only get better by identifying your mistakes, because, you know, even as a photographer now, after so many years, I go back and I see a picture or, you know, a commercial shoot, and I see, oh my gosh, like I needed more light or something happened, you know, the images, whatever it might be. You know, I have to learn from those mistakes. They don't care how much studying you have. They want to know that they could trust you. They want to know they could get along with you. So, you know, practice on your skill set, on your personality, and working with people is very important.
Have you been able to photograph any Colombian celebrity or maybe a Colombian personality?
Maybe 15 years ago, I was going to photograph Shakira. And this was because a coincidence. A client of mine was a wardrobe stylist. She did all the clothing line that was for Shakira. So I photographed the clothing line, not knowing, you know, that she was Shakira's wardrobe stylist. So she was going to connect me, and she spoke to Shakira. We were going to do a photo shoot, but I was in Las Vegas teaching. She came in from Miami to Hollywood, and we missed each other. So
which one you would like to photograph?
I think I would still say Shakira. You know, I love her personality. I love the way she really expands outside of the box as an artist, you know, and for me, I think I have vision as a photographer to be also like that, you know, to step outside of the ordinary.
If you could capture the essence of Colombia in a single image, what scene or moment would you choose and why?
That's a really good question. You know, Colombia is so expansive. You know, it's expansive in the culture, in the food, in the people, and the landscape. when I think of Colombia, I mean, I think about a combination of like the mountainous region, with the coast and then the buildings of Bogota, the commerce, the industry. There was just one image would be maybe somebody like that just on top of a hillside, maybe a Colombian with the typical dress, all those colorfuls, from the culture dresses, and maybe in the city, maybe on the top of a mountain, and you see the valley, and but far away you see a city. I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity for Colombia One to share what I do. As a Colombian abroad, just a little bit of flavor of what it is like Colombia and Santa Monica or in Hollywood.